All right, we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the regular City Council meeting for Tuesday, August 18th, the Galt City Council. Let's go ahead and start with a roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, report from closed session?
Yes, no reportable action.
Okay, now we'll have roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed.
Here.
Councilmember Pratton.
Here.
Councilmember Sandu.
Here.
Councilmember Farmer.
Here.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Here. Okay, if you'd join me in a silent prayer and then the flag salute. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can you read the replay statement? Oh.
This meeting of the Galt City Council is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting replays Friday, August 21st at 9 a.m. and Saturday, August 22nd at 9 a.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14.
Thank you. Okay, item F, agenda approval, additions and/or deletions. Council? Nothing? All right. Item G, presentations. Commission on Aging Annual Report for Fiscal Year 2025 to 2026.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Tonight, Joan Warblin will be coming up and presenting the annual report for the Commission on Aging. So I'll go ahead and call her up. Thank you, Joan.
Good evening. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, staff, and audience. It's a pleasure to present this to you. Since I was here last year, I kind of was pulled in at the last minute and to give you the report. However, there are things that I want to go over this year rather than throwing a lot of statistics at you on cost of things and living expenses and so on. I'd like to talk to you about some of the things that we're experiencing here in Galt. And I would like to say that I did look up some of our statistics, and it's interesting. They list us in the data portion as being a town of some 29,000 people. But I want to get it right, and we have, in this town, it is estimated over 9,000 people over the age of 55. Okay, that tells you what I've been doing for the last year. We have approximately 37% of our population is over 55, and 3% of that are over 80. So we have an aging population here, and I know we don't think about it as much as we probably should. I think about it day and night. But we're a young community. We're growing, and we're growing fast. But we're also bringing in a lot of seniors. I've seen a couple senior housing projects go up since I've been here. And seniors who live here, we have a lot of people who have lived here for years. So we need to look forward. And the biggest problem we're running into is financing and transportation. They're the two big ones that we're trying to deal with. Our bingo games, which is what we're known for, but it's not the only thing we do, although I have to tell you, 3 times last week when I was at Walmart, people came up to me and said, "Oh, you're the bingo lady." I said, "Yes, I'm the bingo lady." So it is, the bingo for me has provided a real thermometer into what's going on in this town. We average now 95 people. We go up to 100 on holidays because we usually have Denny's provides lunch for us. So we're seeing a lot of what's going on in the town, where the problems are. We have decided that one of the things we're going to work on, of course, is to expand. We are a commission of just 5 people. So we're spread thin, and I think I'm the only one that's retired, so everybody else has a job, and they don't get an opportunity to get out and about as I do. But we decided that, we really need to branch out. We're putting together opportunities where we can work with other commissions on aging. Elk Grove has a very active commission. We've had a couple of visitors come down, and we want to see exactly what they're doing. We've had to cancel our programs. We had to cancel our trips to the casinos, which was very, very disappointing to everybody concerned. The casinos stopped running buses, and the buses are expensive. Some of the buses wanted $1,000 or more to take a small, I consider a small group of seniors to a casino. So we put those on hold. We also we had planned some trips up to Sacramento once a year. All of the museums and things in Sacramento have a free day. There's no admission charges, and we wanted to load up a bus and take some of the people who've never been to an art museum or who would like to see the waterfront in Old Town and all. And again, there was no money for transportation. People are, a lot of the seniors are telling us that they can't get to Sacramento. They can't even get to Elk Grove on the buses that run because they're really meant for commuters. And if they want to go to their doctor or to, just go out and have lunch with some friends and they don't drive. I tried to do it last week and I could not make connections. So it's a real problem. And I think the older you are and the more infirm you are, the more of a problem it becomes. We are continuing with our program of walking, the senior walking, and that is really weather dependent. So in the heat of the summer, it dropped down to just a couple people. But we are going to keep that going because we feel that that's a benefit. We've also had an inquiry from a group in Lodi who run a program working with people who've had hearing and visual problems, and that's your sense of balance. And they wanted to know, since we walk slowly and we don't go into, off the beaten path, could they join us with some of their clients as they were ready to start walking? And we said, sure. And we accept everybody. You can bring your dog. You can come in a wheelchair if you want to, bring your caregiver, whatever. So we're trying to reach out to different groups. We have started looking at the various senior housing and getting them involved. We don't know exactly where everybody lives. We do know that we hear about people that are no longer able to afford their rent. They don't know where they're going. So we're looking into some of those issues as well as, and Bonnie has been very helpful looking at transportation. But it's very frustrating that it's not that far up the road and you can't get there. So we're looking at that. We've also looked at being able to provide discounted tickets to the little buses that go around town here because a lot of seniors can't afford it. The price is going up, and it's, I think, $2 each way now, and that's grocery money. So we do need to look at those kinds of things that are going on. Parks and Rec is going great guns with programs for seniors. It's great. And we want to help the seniors be able to afford some of the programs, and we want the seniors. We are supporting Parks and Rec, and we want everybody to get behind that, because the programs are really good, and they're meeting the needs of all different things. We had to buy a new screen for the television this year. These are the large screens like this that we have at bingo for the numbers to be projected onto for people with low vision. And this is the first time we were requested to have bingo cards in Braille. And so we bought a couple dozen of the bingo cards in Braille. So that's, again, trying to meet the needs of everyone that we can. We're looking at branching out. I was invited to give a talk to the Commission on Youth, and I did, and they want to work more with us. So we're looking at events where we can incorporate our young people. They came over the first Monday that they had after I talked to them. They came over and they did bingo for us. They didn't have school that day. And the seniors loved it. They absolutely loved it. We've had 2 concerts by the choirs from McCaffrey, and we've had 2 concerts from the 2 different bands at McCaffrey. So, and we do this before bingo, and they come early. It's interesting. They come at least a half an hour early for these performances, and they love it. It's been a real hit for us. So, I will be here afterwards. I'm saying if anyone has specific questions, I'll be happy to discuss them with you. But I just felt that in general, you need to hear what we're doing. I think people forget about us because we're not very visible. Our office, the resource, we're expanding that. We have a lot of people who need help feeding their pets. Some of them just come in off the street. So we've started a larder as such, and we've got kibble, we've got cat food, we're partnering with L'Chaim, who are making us toiletry kits. They have a pair of socks in them. They have toothpaste, toothbrush, comb, brush, those kinds of things that the people who are, without homes need those, and they're things that they've requested, so they're giving us a stockpile of it also. So that has worked out, and our volunteers are really happy to have something to do, and they can do that. So that's something new that we've just started, and I think it's growing. It's growing very fast. It's not a grocery store, and it's for urgent and emergent supplies. We have diapers, we have incontinent pads, we bought a wheelchair because we've had a couple instances where someone had to leave bingo and they didn't come in a wheelchair. So we bought one of the small transport wheelchairs that we can get them from their seat to their car. So that's been a help to us. We've got walkers, we've got canes, and they're available. They're donated to us, and we've just made contact with a group of retirees over in Emerald Village, who I'll be meeting with next month. To talk about, they have a collection, they have a garage set up over there of people who leave the village or don't need the equipment, and they've been collecting it, and they called me and said, could you use this? And I said, well, yeah, we can have this stuff. So that's another thing that we're looking at being able to work with, so. But other than that, Jackie, did I leave anything out?
No, I think you covered it. Thank you for being part of our senior programs at the Commission on Aging. We appreciate your support.
I just think it's great, the things that you're doing for seniors, and we're certainly behind it. So, okay.
Well, thank you. Council, any comments or questions for?
No question. I just have a couple comments. I just wanted to say, Joan, thank you for how much you've put in. I know you have been super dedicated to your role on the commission since you've been on it. I know you've took on a lot of, crusaded for a lot of different things. You and I have spoken many times on things, and I know sometimes it's frustrating because you feel like you can't make some progress, and there's always these roadblocks. But to find a way around them is, something we keep having to work at. The transportation thing is very interesting because we are kind of like this island, right? And so I know it can be isolating for some of our seniors to get places, and it's too bad we can't. Maybe I think that the council maybe should try to figure out a way we can partner with something. I don't know if we partner with our bus system here, or if we can try to partner with something else to try to, make sure these events that they look forward to don't get canceled because of those costs. So that would be something I would like to do. But I am thankful to Parks and Recreation. You guys do an amazing job with offering a lot of stuff for seniors. I'm always sharing those online, and there's a lot of them. I know people that participate in some of those too, the swimming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's good. I just think, you make a good point. We got to remember that we have a large percentage of seniors that are here in Galt. They love living here, and we got to make sure that they don't get forgotten about, and then we got to stay focused on this. So keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it. And the Commission on Aging is a very important, but yet underutilized piece of the city. So thank you, Joan, for your commitment to it.
Thank you.
Mr.
Thank
Sand.
you. Thank you, John, for your service. You guys doing an excellent job, and especially with the senior population, and one by the other, whatever we can help. And I'm going to piggyback what council member Farmer said. I will ask the city manager if anything as is staff level or from the council in the future, if we can help on the transportation, because Galt is very isolated thing. I see in El Grove, they have a lot of transportation going inside the city, same thing Sacramento. But here is very difficult to go to stores. So we certainly can ask the city manager if anything we can help on the transportation with the senior citizen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Pratt? No. Mr. Reed? Thank you, Joan. I really appreciate all of your work.
There's one thing I forgot to tell you guys. Jackie has, over at the Galt Market, they have a space for yard sales. We have a lot of seniors who say, I need to get rid of stuff, but I don't have a yard. I live in a room someplace, I live in an apartment. So she's made it available to us that we will fund one of those parking spots, and we'll do it on come and register, we'll put everybody's name in a hat for the week. And so we're gonna provide them with that space that they can have their yard sale and get their money. And so that's one of the new programs we've started.
That's great.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, item G2, again, Parks and Rec Commission Annual Report. Ms. Garcia.
Thank you again. Our next report is the Parks and Rec Commission report. Joining us this evening will be Carrie Graham, who will provide council with an overview of our recent commission activities and updates. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Carrie.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to continue serving in a second year as chair commissioner to present for you. This last year, Chris Brossman, myself, Carrie Graham, Brooke Stommer, Chris Smith, and Francisco Javier Lego started off the commission, with Francisco resigning in July, and our commission welcomed Jody Arbaca in November. We only had one commission meeting that was canceled due to lack of forum. 98% of our meetings, everybody attended, and we meet every other month. The purpose of our commission is to serve in an advisory role in capacity to the City Council in the City of Galt, California, in the fields related to parks and recreation and park development. We have no administrative powers or authority to incur any indebtedness or obligations against the City of Galt. The advisory powers of our commission include, but are not limited to, recommendations as to the nature of the recreation programs to be provided. We had provide advice and assistance to the City Parks and Recreation Director in preparation of the budget, the needs of the community and the programs and services that satisfy those needs. The policies, fees, charges, rules, and regulations relating to the specific recreation programs. And we help publicize and promote the program and services of Parks and Recreation Department. We serve as an appeal board for players, coaches, parents, and/or spectators that have received disciplinary action. Knock on wood, we have not had to do that yet. Taken by Parks and Rec Department. A little bit of an overview of our program with Parks and Rec. We have 21 parks and recreation facilities that form the foundation of delivering recreation services to the community. They range from pocket parks, neighborhood and community parks, to specialized facilities to support a variety of outdoor and indoor activities, gatherings, and programs. This system is overseen by the city's Parks and Rec Department. I do want to acknowledge the Parks and Recreation Department staff for everything that they have done in maintaining the 21 parks, rec facilities, including the Galt Market, Saturday Market, and 2 parades that are held, one in July and one in December, that form the foundation for delivering recreation services to the community. I would like to recognize all of the Park and Recreation staff and the management for their dedication and commitment to maintaining these spaces for our residents. They've done an amazing job. They've been in the social media and they've improved, and when they're no longer negatively seen in the social media, we've actually had members of our community come to our meetings and speak on behalf of how they feel Parks and Rec is running. And they've always honored our staff for the job well done. They worked really hard this past year in doing everything. They've always been open to feedback and open to constructive criticism. They do their very best and they work tirelessly making this town function within all this, with over all these residents. We run 5 acres of parkland per 1,000 residents. We have 152 acres of open space, 65 acres of developed parks. And this doesn't include all the trail systems included as well. So I wanted to present they've presented the overview of the 24-25, 25-26 budget to the commissioners. They were open to answering all of our questions. We're very knowledgeable. The staff is on top of their A game. They gave us 2 presentations in regards to a GSSA grant and the Park and Recreation Activity Guide that launched in November 2025. And it is amazing. They brought us an actual copy, but the digital copy is a really nice addition. They gave us updates to the Emerald Vista Trail, RHAA Master Plan, Parks and Recreation and Open Space Master Plan, the skate park, the Gora Aquatic Water Slide, and Walker Park Phase 2. They've also implemented 3 new parks. One is currently in development at Liberty Ranch, and they also got names assigned to them through the commission. So thank you again for allowing me to serve as a commissioner and entrusting me with this role. And I really want to recognize the Parks and Recreation staff. They really work hard maintaining everything and doing everything that the community, they're real receptive. They need to be honored for their hard work. We wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the staff.
Thank you. Council.
Just want to say thanks, Carrie, for all your long-term tenure on the commission, and to the other people who are not here. Thank you to you. This again is a very important board of people, and you guys are all volunteers, and you take time out of your days to make a difference and serve in that role. So we want to say thank you. Appreciate all your kind words you said about the park staff, because I'm sure they appreciate it. There's a lot. It's a huge department. It's a lot of people, a lot of part-time people, and so a lot of them go unnoticed for all the stuff they do behind the scenes. So thank you for those kind words, and appreciate everything you guys did over this last year. And hopefully Parks and Rec will have a bright future moving forward. So thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Councilman Sandu?
No, thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for all the commissioners.
Thank you.
Councilman Pratton?
I just want to say thank you to both commissions for the service, Joan and Carrie, and all your commissioners. So
Yeah.
thank you.
No. Thank you, Ms.
I'm
Graham.
glad to have this opportunity, and like I said, it's a small picture. the staff is what paints the big picture. And they make our job easy.
I appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
They make our job easy too.
Yeah, we feel the same way about staff. Makes our job a lot easier too. Public comments.
Under Government Code Section 54954.3, members of the public may address the city council on non-agenda items within the subject matter jurisdiction. The public comment section is for the city council to receive comments. Except for brief responses to questions, no discussion or action may be taken on any item that is not listed on the agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Consistent with the city council procedural guidelines, the mayor reserves the right to shorten the time limit for speakers to ensure the efficient and timely completion of all city business on the agenda. Ken Lee.
Good evening, council members. I'm Ken Lee, currently of Galt Place. I'm on my third round of a yearly inspection. As it says a yearly inspection on our lease, and they've done 3 this year already. I rode all the buses already, Sacramento to Folsom and Lodi, and it's very cheap to ride it once you get the hang of the schedules. Okay. I'd like to thank the Commission on Aging because I love winning the gift cards to the eateries. That's how I get to find out where they are. I'd like to address street parking, the rules on 5th Street between the 300 and the 400 blocks. It's starting again. The residents seem to think they can park their cars any way they want. They put them in backwards. Instead of parking parallel to the curb, they made up their own imaginary lines and they park diagonal. I don't think there's any diagonal parking for the residential housing. I like to see if there'll be any updating on the commercial vehicles over 20 feet. They don't fit in the typical passenger spaces. All they do is create blind spots, make it hard to open your doors because they're wider, and they restrict traffic flow when they go 4 or 5 feet over. It's the 80th anniversary of Dennett Can Company, also better known as Grocery Outlet. This Trent City Road OCVS is now Grocery Outlet and is projected to open up September 10th. With increasing shoppers to and from that area, will Dial-A-Ride be able to handle the individual cars? Can a pilot program be done to boost local shopping be tested for ridership and effectiveness of a fixed hourly route? This way, we have a schedule giving us more independence for the seniors, especially the elderly Hispanics who depend on their children to drive them places. Right now, you take Dial-A-Ride, it's $1.75 plus $1. That's $2.75 to go to Sacramento. That's $5.50 both ways. And if you go to Lodi, it's $1.25 all-day pass in Lodi. Sacramento is $3 for all-day pass, and you go as far as Folsom. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
We have one more on the way. Victoria Schaller.
I just wanted to introduce myself. Excuse me, I've been busy all day. We are opening up a new animal sanctuary up on Borden, 14 acres to save. This is a lot. Save the lives of the animals from fire victims. Their livestock, if they have livestock that need to be evacuated or anything, we have the land to put them up. And we have barns, we have kennels, we have everything actually. And we're opening this up and just wanted to introduce us. So if anybody needs our help, we're here.
Thank you, Ms. Schaller.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the name of it?
I'm sorry, Pause of Sacramento, love your pet. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional?
No more comments.
All right. Okay, moving on to item I, reports by city council members on regional boards, commissions, and committees. Vice Mayor Reed?
Okay. I have one, and it was the Library Authority Board. And they gave us their annual report. We got a report from the Friends of Sacramento, which is the nonprofit that helps them with fundraising. The things that stood out to me from their annual report was overall in Sacramento, the amount of books and the amount of visits throughout the county are up at all of the libraries, except Galt. So the circulations have dropped about 5,000 a year, and then the visits are just slightly less than they were the last 2 years. So that stood out to me, and I figured everybody should know about it. But other than that, that's it.
Interesting. Mr. Pratton?
All right, I've got two on Thursday, July 23rd, Sacramento Air Quality Management District. Fairly quick meeting, not a lot of excitement. What do we have? 8 items, and nothing really, I think, that we need to get into here. Certainly, if anybody ever wants to read those agendas and has questions on the subjects, I was there, I did pay attention. They're very interesting. There's a lot of information. All right, and then LAFCO meeting on Wednesday, August 5th. That one was definitely interesting. It went on, we had 20 items, and people speak on every one of them, so it was a long night. Subjects-wise, I wouldn't say anything too exciting. Let me see if I have any check marks here. A lot of comments, but a couple of public hearings, and there's no new projects really going on at LAFCO. It's just was a lot of catch up on items that were going on. There was a closed session. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Sandu?
Yeah, I have only one meeting. It was on yesterday, August 17, in South Sacramento Conservation Agency. And there was nothing was actually involved in a Galt or surrounding. There was one project, it's kind of South Sacramento County. Have somebody familiar with South Sacramento, Gerber and El Grove, Florin Road. And that project kind of thing, we approve it. And nothing is in here in Galt or in surrounding. And that's all. Thank you.
Councilmember Farmer?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I just had one meeting that I attended. It was the CAST meeting last Monday evening. The city manager was in attendance, as well as the police chief and the superintendents from both districts and the other representatives from the school boards, as usual. It was a good meeting. Nothing out of the ordinary. We typically discuss standing agenda items such as school safety, as it pertains to the police department working, with the school district on concerns of safety of our school campuses. I believe there was some discussion about, the police presence for the first days of school as related to traffic and things like that, just to make sure everything was going smoothly. Obviously, we have our SRO officers who are on various campuses. We did talk about that. We did touch briefly on the discussion of e-bikes and which I didn't actually follow up on it, but there was a council meeting in Oak Grove, and they were going to be passing some code changes. And one of the ones that stood out to me, so we actually discussed it in CAST, was that they were going to be enforcing speed limits for bicycles, which I thought was interesting because it was kind of low, and I think even regular bicycles can go faster than that speed limit. So I didn't know. I'll have to follow up on that story to see how it went. But the other one was they were going to have police officers actually inspecting the bicycle racks at the schools, looking for e-bikes that are actually illegal to use. So that was a pretty standout item to me. So again, I apologize I did not follow up to see if that was passed or not in Elk Grove, but it's an interesting story if someone should want to look into that. And other than that, we talked about enrollment, which we usually talk about. I think the elementary district was pleasantly had an uptick. Not an uptick like over last year, but they thought they were going to have a loss, and they end up kind of being level with enrollment. They are seeing a spike in TK, I think. So they were talking about having to open some additional TK classes, or at least one. I forget the number they mentioned, but so that was a good thing. We did talk about the proposed school bond that the high school district is talking about going out for. I can't remember if they decided they are going out for it for sure, or they're still contemplating it, but we discussed, the needs for that, and that was probably a pretty robust discussion, I think. But outside of that, I think it was a pretty good meeting. We just cover the regular stuff. We meet I think actually we meet once a quarter, so we don't meet very often. But I always look forward to those meetings. Mr. Pratton's usually with me in those meetings.
I was out of town. I hated to miss it.
Yeah, they're good meetings. I enjoy serving on it, and it's been very enjoyable. So I think that's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I did not have any meetings. We're still on our summer break, but they start this week, so next time. Okay, item J, the information consent calendar. It is recommended that items 1 through 8 be acted on simultaneously unless a separate discussion and/or action is requested by a council member. I'll go ahead and read through them really quick, and then item 1, receive and file warrants for period ending August 10th, 2026. Item 2, minutes of the regular meeting of July 21st, 2026. Item 3, adoption of resolution of intention to annex territory into Community Facilities District number 2020-1 for Elliott Homes Unit 1. Item 4, approval of the Transportation Development Act projection expenditure plan and claim for fiscal year 26-27. Item 5, updated records retention schedule and records management manual. Item 6, gun range project CIP 624C and 52-1Q, budget adjustments and construction contract amendment. Item 7, approved task order and with Wildan Engineering, Inc. for engineering services for the Liberty Ranch development. Item 8, senior nutrition program contract services with Meals on Wheels by Asian Community Center. Council, does anyone want to pull anything or discuss any?
Go ahead.
Nope.
Oh. I'd like to pull J8.
8?
Yep.
Okay. Do we have any public comment on any of the others?
No public comment.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion regarding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
So moved.
I'll second.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Farmer and seconded by Councilmember Pratton. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed,
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton,
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, item 8, Mr. Reed.
Okay, I had spoken with, and I sent my concerns to the city manager and the assistant city manager about this contract or this service. And I was hoping they had the answers today about the difference in the amount of meals. So the staff report indicates 3,427 meals were served in FY 25-26, when the new agreement anticipates a minimum of 10,000 and a maximum of 13,250 meals. And so that's quite a big jump. And so I wanted to see if we had just some explanation on why such a big difference.
Unfortunately, the director, I did reach out to her and she's on vacation, so she was unable to give me the difference. That information I'm waiting on that answer. There is a difference and we wanted to make sure we're comparing apples to apples, so I'm waiting for a response back from them on that number.
If we don't need that information, or this doesn't need to be passed right away, we could table it.
That's,
Well, it looked like it was supposed to start July 1st, correct?
Correct.
You probably don't have this because I didn't think about it till he was asking his question, but I'm dealing with contracts. I'm curious, is the previous contract, I'm sure, had a higher number than the 3,000? So I don't know that they're going to hold us to a minimum. They're just, my guess is that's what the contract is.
right, and my concern is, we know the contracts, look, if the minimum's 10,000, that means you're paying for 10,000 and we're
Right.
delivering 3,500.
Right.
So there's a gap of 6,500 meals that really we might not have to be paying for.
So the question would be, is the contract, are we paying per meal or are we paying is this the number, the amount we're paying, is that set or are we going to?
Flat, or is it per meal?
Yeah,
The amount you're paying is for staffing, not meal, I don't believe. So it's
so that's
4
true.
hours.
The 5,000 goes toward the meals.
Right,
The rest of it is staff.
correct.
Well, I would hate to see that the program is supposed to start in July. I would hate to see it, there's people that are waiting for these meals and we prolong it by, pushing this off to another meeting. That would be my only concern. I do understand Tim's question, and it is a great question. Because why are we spending for that much if it's like almost 3 times what we did before? So,
So what kind of effect if we change this agenda item to the next meeting?
So currently Meals on Wheels is running, the program is
So,
running.
so this not that much big. When you bring the report, then we can make a decision, right?
Correct. And just to clarify, the 3427, that is a congregate number. That does not count home delivery. It counts anyone that's picking up a meal or eating on site.
So I would like to make a motion to item number J8 to the move to the next meeting.
So before I second, so just to understand your answer, Jackie, you're saying that the 3,000 number is the eating the air, but the rest could be home delivery or something?
Correct.
So could that, so does it, was the previous year those, I don't have it in front of me up on my computer, so is the number still way different than before, or do you think that number just reflects?
The 10,000, I'd have to go back and talk specifically to the director, but the 3427 is for the year for people that are picking up their food or eating on site.
So Tim, are you saying is there a discrepancy between, does it say like last year and that number's way different? No?
I'm looking for that right now and I don't see it.
Just so you know, we can cancel the contract pretty easily if there is an issue.
Well, I think Councilmember Sam, I agree with Councilmember Samdu. If the project is still running and it's not going to affect any deliveries of any meals to anyone, right? That's my concern, is that to make sure that doesn't happen. If we can move it to a later meeting to inspect the differences of that, then I would support tabling it to a later meeting.
Well, there is a motion. You can second that if you like.
All right, second.
Okay. So we have a motion by Councilmember Sandu and seconded by Vice Mayor Reed. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed?
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton?
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Aye. Motion passes, so we'll see that again soon. All right, item K, do we have any scheduled matters or notice of public hearings?
No.
Okay, on to our regular calendar. City Treasurer's Office. Treasurer's Report for period ending June 2026. Mr. Farrell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council members. Before I give the Treasurer's Report, I will always cover the economic report first. And so according to EDD, the unemployment rate in Galt is 5.3%. And in comparison, the county rate is 4.8%. So we're pretty close. We do have a small city south west of here, Ileton, their number is at 10%, just to kind of give you some perspective. Okay, and so then I want to touch about housing, and the person that I get the housing numbers from is a realtor here in town, and I asked her to combine June and July together. So I'm going to give you 60 days worth of data, and first I'm going to talk about Lodi, specifically the zip code of 95240, which is the older part of Lodi. And in that 60 days, there were 42 homes that were sold. And just to kind of give you some perspective, the closing price, the average of the closing price was $586,000. Now, the median, and if you remember from statistics, the median is the number in the middle, okay? And that was $570,000. So again, that was Lodi. And of those 42 homes closed, 36 were closed within 60 days. So it was pretty fast market. Now for Galt, same period, those same 60 days, there was a total of 53 homes that were closed, and the average was $531,000. The median was $510,000. Now, how there were no outliers. When I speak about an outlier, that means there were no really high homes that were sold. The highest home during that period was $780,000. Okay, and the least priced home that was sold was $380,000. So it was a pretty good range. And so, as I said, the average was $531, which comes out to $327 per square foot. The median was $311 per square foot. So now, if you remember back about a year ago, home prices, the average and the medians here in Galt were a little bit higher. So, you know, the prices are slightly coming down in Galt. Now, of the 53 homes that were sold, 30, okay, which is 56%, were sold within 30 days. That tells you either one of two things. One, either the buyers really had their mortgages lined up and ready to go, or two, they just simply paid cash for the home. Okay, that's usually what happens when a home sells that quickly. Now, of those 53 homes, 45 of them were sold within 90 days. So homes doesn't seem to be sitting on the market very long, but the prices do seem to be coming down a bit. Okay, now on to the treasurer's report. First, I just want to say, happy birthday, Galt. Okay. And that's 2 days ago was the actual birthday, and Galt is 80 years old. So congratulations to the city of Galt. And how that relates to us in the city is, and I've mentioned this before, Galt has always been with Farmers and Merchants Bank for all of the 80 years. To give you kind of a little history behind that, you know, Galt, of course, incorporated in 1946. Farmers and Merchants Bank, we know, is based out of Lodi. Its very first branch location was right here in Galt in 1948. And they started down at 4th and C Streets, for those who remember. And then they moved to, oh boy, what is now the Village Antiques. I'm trying to remember the address, 810 C Street, I believe, was their address. They stayed there for a number of years until of course, they made the purchase across the street, and that's where they are now. So that's a little history. And for those who remember, I'll say the branch manager of the Galt branch, Art Heinley, he was well known in this community. And as a matter of fact, Art authorized my very first credit card when I was 16 years old. So I certainly remember Art. So speaking of Farmers and Merchants Bank, we did have a certificate of deposit that matured on July the 7th. And it was for 18 months at a rate of 4.25%. Farmers and Merchants, in negotiating a renewal of that, they didn't want to go out 18 months again. They wanted to only stay to 12 months, which was fine. And so the new term for that CD is 1 year, so 12 months, and it's at a rate of 4.15%. So slightly smaller rate, but also a shorter term. If they wanted to, they chose to go 12 months. It wasn't necessarily our choice. And the majority of the city's money is invested in government agency bonds. When I talk about government agency bonds, I'm talking about the Federal Home Loan Bank, Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Federal Farm Credit Bank. Those are what are called quasi-government agencies. And whenever I do the treasurer's report for the month of June, it's always a big highlight for me anyway to announce our final fiscal year interest that the city earned. And the last fiscal year, so the year 2024 to 2025, we shattered all interest earned records. And then we earned $5,833,000. This year, we did break it, but not by much. We broke it by about $100,000. So this fiscal year, the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year, the amount of interest earned by the city was $5,932,000. And of course, that does not go all in one place. It gets spread out with all the different funds that we have. So it definitely gets spread. But new record, $5.9 million. We were $68,000 short of $6 million. So, which is truly phenomenal. With that, I'll ask the council to approve the treasurer's report dated June of 2026. I'll answer any questions if you have them.
Council, Mr. Farmer.
Just thank you again for the presentation. It's always very informative, and I appreciate you doing all those economic comparisons and stuff with the housing and stuff. It gives the common people, and including myself, perspective, because houses is, most people are houses their main investment, right? So it's always a good thing to use that. And I'll say it again, I say every time, you earn every penny of that measly little income that you make for being the treasurer. Thank you for making us $6 million. I think you made 0.000001% of that for your salary. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Council?
Yeah, I want to thank you also. I mentioned when I came in, I always look forward to this, and you act like I was joking. I'm not joking.
I thought you were.
This is good information. I'm not running for anything this year, so I can be honest, right? Yeah, I have a couple of chairs from the F&M Bank that I still have, and Art Heinley went for my first loan,
right?
Business loan, and he wouldn't give it to me because he wanted a cosigner. I was very young. It shows how fiscally responsible he was.
Extremely, yeah.
Art
was tough to deal with.
Yeah. He was a good guy, though. Art was great.
Yeah, he was. I agree.
But I do appreciate it. And part of why I think I enjoy these is, Coach John Madden used to always say the bus ride's always best after you win the game. I mean, it's positive. The numbers are good. We're doing good. You're doing a great job. So
thank you.
It's been
all right. Thank you.
It's been easy. Thank you.
Councilmember Sandu?
No, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Thanks, love.
Yes, thank you. Always very informative. This is one meeting that I always encourage my son to log in on, and he actually does. This is what he makes it interesting. So do we need to have a motion, or we just, I was just going to say just accept it. Okay. Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Farrell.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 2. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Galt, California, approving tax-deferred member-paid contributions. Ms. Kobe.
Good evening, Mayor and
is a past practice of offering the tax-deferred benefit for full-time employees and extends that benefit to part-time employees as well going forward. And I am available to answer any questions you may have.
Now, Ms. Kobe, what's that mean actually tax deferred benefit? Can you just explain to us?
Yes, so right now, it means that the member-paid contributions towards CalPERS for full-time employees is pre-tax. And then for part-time employees, it's post-tax. So this resolution changes it so both full-time and part-time will pay pre-tax.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Thank you.
Council? I just out of curiosity, is there a reason why it was that way? Is there a benefit at all to or an advantage to
Yeah.
the city, or?
Yeah, there is a tax-deferred benefit to offering it pre-tax.
Oh, that doesn't explain why we weren't doing it, I guess, but I was just curious. Is just an oversight or?
So the reason for this is that there was an error that was discovered recently. The Galt Joint Unified School District resolution was uploaded to the city's profile. So we are correcting that error with this resolution.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion regarding this if there's no more. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Farmer and seconded by Councilmember Sandu. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed,
I'm going to sustain.
Abstain.
Abstain, that one.
Okay. Councilmember, oh, I'm not saying it.
Councilmember Pratton,
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer.
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0-1. Is that how that's? All right. Item 3, back with Ms. Garcia, Tuesday evening market pilot. Oh, or not Garcia.
All right, good evening, Mayor, again, and City Council. Tonight, staff is pleased to provide a new concept for the Galt Market at the after-hours Tuesday market. This concept will provide an opportunity to expand the traditional market experience by offering an evening option for the community while also creating an opportunity for the vendors. Joining me this evening is our market manager, Vanessa Leslie, who will walk you through the proposed concept, including our vision, the operation, and overall approach. With that, I'll turn the presentation over to Vanessa.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. I'm here tonight to present the proposed Tuesday evening market and receive your direction. The idea came about following a tour of the Galt Market with Councilmember Farmer and Assistant City Manager Amy Mendez. Staff was asked to explore whether Tuesday evening market would be a good fit for the community. Our vision for the evening market centered around 3 main goals: expanding shopping opportunities by giving residents another chance to support local vendors. Second, supporting our loyal vendors by creating additional sales opportunity while also creating an opportunity to obtain new vendors. And third, creating another reason for our community to gather in Galt through a family-friendly evening experience. Our staff conducted a survey for market vendors, to gauge interest in expanding operating hours, preferred days, and hours. We received responses from 191 vendors, with 120 expressing interest in participating in an evening market. Vendors supported extending the Tuesday market into the evening because they believed it would attract after-work shoppers and increase customer traffic. At the same time, they preferred a cautious approach with a limited test phase before committing to a full pilot. Based on that feedback, staff is recommending a 1-day pilot in October. This approach will allow us to evaluate vendor participation, operations, and community interest before considering a seasonal evening market series in the future. The purpose of an evening market is that it gives residents who work another opportunity to shop locally, enjoy dinner from local food vendors, listen to live music, and spend time with family friends beyond our current operating hours, which are Tuesday and Wednesday from 7 to 2. The vision is to create a vibrant community gathering space that not only supports our vendors, but also provides another reason for people to shop and connect here in Galt. What's great about the evening market is that it builds on the success of our existing Tuesday market, but it also provides a different experience for a different audience. Our staff is currently in the planning stage of the October pilot. Once the event is held, we'll review, analyze data, report findings, and provide a recommendation for a reoccurring pilot series. Next, I would like to share conceptual design of the market. The pilot has been designed to minimize impacts while showcasing the best elements of the market. The October pilot is intentionally smaller in scale, focusing on our produce and food rows to protect areas that are occupied for vendors who aren't participating in the pilot. In addition, we will have live music, family activities to create an inviting atmosphere. To help visualize, we've developed a sample promotional flyer that reflects the type of messaging we use to attract both the shoppers and the vendors. In addition, to maximize our vendor buy-in and encourage growth, fees will be waived for current vendors to participate in the pilot. Again, our goal is really to create a new community experience, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Let's go down the road. Vice Mayor Reed?
All right. I saw in the survey that the time, right? Yes. Obviously, we don't know what time yet, right? But the 4 different options were 4 to 7, 5 to 8, 6 to 9, and then one was just extending the hours of the market. And a majority of those, 117 out of the 162 responses, just said it would be better for them to just work extended hours instead of, I'm assuming, instead of closing down and then coming back however many hours later and reopening. Would that be taken into consideration, or are they just focusing on the after hour, the later time frame?
Yes, that was considered, and based on the amount of vendors that may not stay open for the extended hours, we thought it would be best to close the market so that we present an impactful market for our customers to make it easier them to find vendors that are open.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah.
Councilmember Pratt.
No questions. I'm in favor of it. I think it's a great idea. This is the kind of thing we've been looking for to add to what we do down there. So I'm supporting at this point and looking forward to it. If it's October 20th, we have a council meeting that night, so we may not be able to be there.
Oh, man, okay.
Maybe we have a field trip.
Cancel meeting. Okay.
Councilmember Sandu.
Yeah, ma'am, thank you for the presentation, and thank you for Council Member Farmer and Amy Mendes, bring this to the council. And I believing in it can work because a lot of people, they go to work, and Tuesday, Wednesday, they off from work for 5 o'clock, and they have the opportunity to do it. And one thing I like to clarification, they say conduct a one-day evening market pilot program in the beginning. Why we have a 1 day? Why we cannot? Because 1 day might be not have enough data if we want to extend that. That's kind of my opinion.
We will analyze. We're going to make sure that we consider like the amount of visitors that we have and the response from the community before we move forward with a series. We didn't want to commit to a full series without ensuring that we have our vendors buy-in.
Yeah, but staff feeling just only 1 day, it can be enough data to figure out it can be good for to extend or not. So that's the staff recommendation, or you guys get some recommendation from the
It
other
was,
two?
I'm considering the vendor's feedback for the full commitment.
Okay, anyway, I'm gonna support this. This is a good thing, and we need to test because, I know that's my experience when anything change in any department, any private or government business is always kind of thing you can have is some kind of resistance. But a lot of time the change, it will work. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Farmer.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for the staff bringing this to us. I've been looking forward to seeing this. Obviously, the idea, as we know, that the Galt market is not attended, it's a high number, like 90% or something like that, I forget the exact, of Galt citizens do not attend the market. I believe, because living here my whole life and having, knowledge of the market is basically just because of the hours of operation. I mean, a lot of people work during the day, right? It's not like it used to be back in when the market started. And so for that reason, doing something like this and allowing the market to give those people an opportunity to come see the market outside of those work hours, like they do in Lodi, for example, where they do a Thursday night market, I believe, was the idea behind it. And the fact that the vendors are there on Tuesday and Wednesday, so they're already there, right? So how many of them would want to do this? I was happy to see the amount of people that were interested. I have a few questions though. So my first question is, you guys haven't pinned down a time yet. I looked it up. So October 20th, the sun goes down at 6:20 p.m. So when I think of like, okay, we're doing this to allow people to come to the market. So assuming that they have to get home from work and then go, hey, let's go to the market tonight, blah, blah, blah. Figure like 5 o'clock is probably not, I mean, it could be realistic, but 4 or something like that to me seems early. So what are the thoughts of the staff? Are you guys kind of leaning towards a certain time frame? What are your thoughts?
It would definitely be between, I believe, 4 to 7 with the noise ordinance to make sure that the staff has the appropriate time to clean up.
Okay.
Before that 10 p.m.
So if some people got home from work at 5, let's say, for example, and then they do their thing, get over there at 5:45, basically gives them like an hour. So that would be my only concern is that might be a little, I get the thing, but I just feel like maybe you should shift it a little bit. And again, I'm not going to die on that hill, but I'm just saying, and I think, people, when they get home and they get settled and they go out in October, usually around, in this area, we're still getting pretty good weather. It's not hot, but we're not really in the dead of winter yet. So I think that, 8 o'clock or something. Anyways, that's just my thought. My other question is, so you showed the layout. So it said in here that you're basically focusing, on the produce row, right? And then food vendors, right?
Yes.
So my only concern with that is that I get why you're doing that, but my only concern would be if what we're trying to do is allow people to come to the market. Mm-hmm. For example, let's say I work during the day. My interest in going to that market would be to see the things other than the produce and the food trucks. So you're not allowing anybody, so my concern is two. One is, are we allowing people to get the full exposure of the Galt market? Really what we're doing is just providing like a farmer's type thing with the produce. So that would be one concern. My other concern would be that if you had 60-something% of vendors that were interested in doing this, obviously that's not 60% of the vendors. So there must be some other vendors that are not being allowed to do it. So can you explain that to me?
Yeah, it was 60% of the 191 vendors that took the survey. So based on this layout, we will have, I want to say, about 160 spaces, but we'll be able to expand as we see more artisan vendors or vendors that do want to be part. We do have the flexibility to expand it out if needed to be, but we want to make sure that we present something that looks impactful and it's easy for the customer to shop.
Yeah, no, I get that. The layout looks good. I like that. And again, this is not something I'm adamant about. I'm just happy that we're going to explore this. I'm just thinking of like the feedback where somebody can say, yeah, it was great. I was able to go for the first time, but all they had was produce and food trucks. and I didn't really get to see some of the other things they sell, like, you know, the guy that sells rugs or the guy that sells, you know, like miscellaneous antique stuff or whatever, you know, all the other things that the market has. So I would only be concerned about that. Then my last question would be, I kind of am with Mr. Sandu. I totally am on board with like trying out before you commit to a whole series, but I am concerned about the 1 day thing. It's like a one-shot deal. I mean, I think at least if you did 2 days, like if you did 2 weeks back to back, if people couldn't get to the first one, they could get to the second one, because people are like, oh, I would have loved to gone that, but I just couldn't. And then your data is going to be based on just that one shot. So with 2, you could then take an average. And I don't think that it would be a huge deal to maybe do 2 weeks in a row, just in case people were able to miss it. Because I want you guys to get a good sampling of data to be able to come back to us and say, you know, this is what we think we should do. I would hate for the sampling to not be accurate because it was a one-shot deal, and then you come back and then we're kind of on the fence about whether to commit to. For me to commit to a whole spring series, I feel like I would want more data than just 1 day. That's just me. Okay. So that's just something that I'm thinking about. Yep. But other than those concerns, I like the idea. I actually have an intuition that it'll be successful. I mean, I believed in the Saturday market when a lot of people didn't. And look at that. And so I invested a lot of, my support behind that. Even Councilman Vandenberg and I were out putting up signs for it ourselves out of our own pocket. So because we believed in it, and it's been great. So, so that's my only feedback would be that just be mindful of the hours to allow people to have that time to get there. Maybe 2 days instead of 1, because I feel like it would be a better sampling of data to come back to us to make an informed decision. And then hopefully, depending on that data and whatever, that we can start, maybe that the other vendors will become more interested, and maybe you can open up a second row or, something. I know there's logistics involved with who doesn't want to do, and then so their spaces will not be open. And I know it's tricky, right? So I get all that. But I'm very pleased that you guys are doing this. I think I'm looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thank you.
So I too am concerned about the 1 day data, but I won't go into all the details that's exactly how I felt. And I appreciate that there's a lot of work that goes into that as well. Because I was trying to think when the Saturday market ones, I think it was like 3 months as a tester or something, instead of just and obviously that worked out. So I am just a little concerned about that. I am curious, and we don't have to go into it here, but I am curious how you're going to block off it. So having done the events out there on that, it can be just big and consuming. So I'm actually happy that the original vendors will be staying there. They'll just be closed, so it will feel a little bit more enclosed. But I am concerned because it is such a large facility, and only utilizing a small fraction of it is going to feel off to someone walking in. To see all of these closed, or I can only go down. What went through my mind was like a scare alley that you're going to enclose just this one area. Don't veer off the path. So which is another reason why I'm concerned about a 1 day data stretch, because people are, and I'll just say this, the advertising for this has got to be phenomenal, because especially if we are going to stick to the 1 day, I can just see the following day all over social media, people going, what event? What are you talking about? So they're going to do that anyway, but we need to make sure that we definitely have that advertised. But I think it's phenomenal. I think it's going to be great. I'm so happy for staff and appreciative of what staff is going to have to go do. You did say something about the timing. What is the concern that staff is going to be doing past 10 o'clock?
Well, with the noise ordinance, just the use of the compactor, making sure we're cleaning and overhauling the space for the next day. For our Wednesday vendors, we are going to make sure that we have extra staffing on board that night to make sure that happens. But
So you guys don't do the blowers in between.
Sorry.
So, because that was what my mind went to, was past 10. How loud is that compactor? And how much would we really be doing it at? it just seems like this would be a small enough event that it could be held off till the morning or something. I don't know. But because I am concerned about the time frame too.
Yeah,
or-
how much work is involved? How much work would you be doing between Tuesday night and Wednesday? Why would there be?
So it's a significant overhaul that we're doing with not including this. So normally our evening crew comes in at 2 p.m. and they're working up until 10 p.m. to get the trash and cardboard and everything switched over to be clean for the next day. So what we're looking for here is it's really to figure out how we're going to implement the long-term plan of this series that we're going to do. So this pilot, this one day, is to really figure out how are we going to implement the blowers for the next long-term plan? How are we going to execute the compactor that next series? So that's our plan is, okay, what are those obstacles and how can we fix those for the series building up?
So if you had that break, you closed at 2 and you didn't open for another 4 hours or whatever it is, 3 hours, you'd have those 3 hours to be able to get a team in there to get some stuff out of the way.
Exactly.
And clean up a little bit.
So then shifting the hours a little later would give you a bigger gap there so you could do work there. So, I'm sorry, go ahead. I know you were done.
No, go ahead.
So going back to follow up one of my questions a little more is, so again, I'm still trying to understand. So obviously there was some, well, we'll call them artisan vendors, vendors that are not produce and food, right? How many of the artisan vendors do you think were interested in doing this, but are not going to actually participate in this because of the layout?
Well, it's going to be open to everyone. This is just the focus because we know during the evening, that's what the customer is going to be looking for, mainly the food and the produce. So it's still going to be open.
Oh,
We're not,
okay.
we're
So
not turning
all the rest of
vendors
that's not going to
away.
be blocked off. There will be vendors open in the other
It
spaces.
will based on the amount of vendors.
Okay.
And so they will have to figure out a way to, if they're not going to participate, they've got to shut down their own, figure out a way to block off their own.
No,
tent.
so
No,
the
we're gonna
way
have-
that we've designed the tea is we're going to invite every single vendor that's part of the Tuesday and Wednesday market to be part of that tea shape. If they're willing to
So
come
they will move or how?
we would provide a canopy for them and then they could set up and our staff would assist them so they don't have to move in their location. So we have over 300 monthly vendors and they're not going to want to move their spaces on a Tuesday to a Wednesday. So to give them an opportunity, we'll provide the canopy, provide them the space so we can have artisan vendors produce an array of vendors in that location so shoppers will enjoy that experience.
So if I'm a vendor and I have my stuff all set up for Tuesday, when the end of that Tuesday comes at the daylight hours, I have to then break down or take whatever my stuff and relocate it over to a canopy that you're providing me and then reset back up to sell that night. And then Wednesday move back to my original spot.
They would have to utilize or move some materials that they're
Yeah,
gonna
I
sell.
mean, you think they're willing to do that? That seems like, I don't know that I'd want to do that if I was a vendor. Like,
Right, so they're not willing to relocate because a lot of their majority of their customers know where they're at.
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
So that's one of the reasons why when we want to provide those canopies, so then they don't have to move all their items. It's just, we provide the canopy, the tables, and they just move
So
their
how many
supply.
people roughly do you think have indicated that they're willing to do that nightly, take some of their stuff over to the tip and then sit back? How many?
So I don't believe we've asked the vendors specifically on if they're willing to move yet, because we were waiting for this meeting. We know on established of like each of those corners, we will have 4 different plant vendors that will be the end caps for that location of the tea. So those are artisan vendors and produce or floral arrangements.
So let me just this is just me thinking out loud here. What I envisioned when we were first talking about this was that you're walking down the row and there's like a vendor who's not participating in the evening, so he's shut down. And then there is a vendor and there's another vendor, but then it's shut down. If you're getting roughly 63% that are interested, you pretty much could assume, let's just say I know it's not going to be averaged out inside, but you could visualize walking along and every other vendor would be open because half of them are not participating and half are, actually a little more than half. So that's what I had envisioned is the market footprint is still the same. The vendors are where they normally are. They don't have to pack their stuff up and move. They don't have to relocate or do any of that kind of logistic stuff for them. It's just as simple as they just stay open later until 7 or 8 or whatever the hours are, and then they shut down. So they don't have to do any extra work at all except just be open to serve customers. If a guy next to me doesn't want to and he's like, no, I'm not going to participate in this, he'll shut down and he won't be there. So there will be some gaps not really gaps like empty, but there will be whatever, but the whole market will still have the same layout. That's the way I envisioned it because I felt like it was very simple for the vendors, and maybe the produce is the highly frequented area in the food truck center and stuff. But that's what I was envisioning, because for me, again, going back to saying that we want to give the people of Galt the chance to visit the market. For me, you're letting them visit just a small sliver. Well, depending on how many you have do it, but we don't even know. I mean, you might come back and we might say, okay, let's do this. And then we might do this one day thing. And you say, yeah, well, after it was all said and done, all the produce people were great. Food trucks were great, but we only had like 5 people that really wanted to do all the work to relocate their stuff. So really then you're missing out on a huge piece of what the market is. Because I go to when I go to the market, the produce is great, but that's not what I'm going for. So I'm just worried that we're not giving them the full experience. That's my only concern. And I also am worried about vendors being willing to pack up their stuff and move and do that. So, but I also know you have some vendors that do leave, right? That don't come back Tuesday. So, but you have that gap where if that person's leaving, they can exit out and they're gone or something. So I know there's logistics to it. I knew this wasn't going to be super simple. It was going to be some things to work out. So that's my concern is that's a big one. To me, that's a big one because I feel like this isn't really.
So the strategy behind it was to protect the vendor's space and product from customers walking in the market when they're not open. That's where the T-shape layout came about, in addition to like our evening customer is looking to get in and out because it's still a weekday. So we want to protect their time and ensure they're able to find what they're looking for quickly without going through rows of vendors who are open or not open, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, originally I was just like, it was just thinking like, well, let's just take the market and instead of closing it at this time, we just have it open longer.
Yeah.
And so it seemed real simple. But now the way you're looking at doing it, it seems like it's becoming a little bit more complicated. So I'm not trying to shut you guys down. And I'm not going to, like I said, I don't think I'm willing to die on that hill, but I am concerned. Let's just put it this way. If we do this one day or 2 days or whatever, right? And then you come back and go, yeah, it just didn't go over real well. We just didn't have a lot of attendance, whatever, and we just not recommend we do it. I'm going to be the first, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be the first person to sit up here and go, well, it's because you didn't get the full marketing experience. That's what I'm going to say, honestly. So I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about getting the full market experience. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong and maybe the feedback will be good and then and maybe a lot of vendors will be like, hey, we really wish we'd have participated in that. So if you do this again, yeah, we're on board. So that's just that's my thoughts, guys. But I really, really, really think that one day, because you're going to have some speed bumps in that one day in logistics, I really think that one day, I'm skeptical on getting a good sampling on one day. I think that maybe if you did it 2 weeks, just 2 weeks back to back, would be better for me to be able to make an informed decision on when you guys come back. And then my last question is, when would you be coming back? Like when do you think that data would be gathered and when would you think you'd come back and report back to us? If you did it October 20, what?
I'm assuming, I would assume we would want to hit the market again, starting in the springtime. So if we hit it in October, we would probably come back in December.
Right, because I'm only here the first week of December, then I'm gone. So I would love to be a part of that.
So there's your deadline.
So yeah, so I would like to see the results of this, at least no later than the first meeting in December, which is usually the council reorganization, so it's probably not a good one. So if you guys could bring that data back by the end of November, I know that's a quick turnaround, but I think you could have some initial, you could at least come and do a presentation, say, here's the initial numbers, here, let's get your thoughts, and then we're gonna come back with a full, pitch to the council in January or something, right? But at least I would be able to be here for the data breakdown or something. I don't know. It's just an ask.
Okay.
You're not leaving town, so you can still
well, no,
comment.
but
you can have your five.
You can have your 5 minutes.
This is a big deal to me because honestly, I've lived my whole life and 8 years on council, and I've been pitching weekend operation for the market forever, and this is the closest thing we've seen to it right now is this, outside of the Tuesday, Wednesday daylight hours. So I'm passionate about this, and I believe in it, and I want to see it succeed. I do. So
I agree, and I support most of what you're saying. What I would see in the future is possibly the vendors would be given spaces, the ones that commit to doing the Tuesday night and Wednesday, or Tuesday during the day and Tuesday night, would be given spaces that would be located in those rows.
Priority.
right?
But during the
Well,
test period,
yeah.
you know, you're
There's a
not
lot
really
of
gonna
vendors
be
though
able
that
to
have
do
been
all
there a
that.
long time, right? That are like, just like, this is my spot for
Well,
30
they are.
years.
They are, but if this is our process, at some
Yeah.
point, we
Yeah.
would say, well, we're not gonna.
True.
We're not gonna have 10 places closed and then you're open. So we gotta move you up here towards the front and that'll be the business.
So to reiterate, why I'm supporting tonight is I expressed my concerns about not getting the full market experience, and I tell you, I will be the first one if the numbers aren't good to say that. So, but I would support your layout. I trust you guys, that you guys know your market. I'm putting faith in you. I'm not gonna try to micromanage. I'm gonna go with you guys doing it. But I really would like to see 2 days, not 1 day. That's my pitch. I would support that, but let's see what we all think. I don't know.
I like 2 days.
Me too.
And the other thing I would like also, about the timing. If I know there is a sound problem, there is 4 to 7 and 5 to 8. I like to 5 to 8. I know there is a 1 hour difference, 10 from 7 to 3. But I think we have a very experienced director. They can make something happen, if possible.
This cleanup, is this something that they can start while people are still there? I mean, Disneyland cleans all the time. So is there any way that staff can be starting?
Staff will be working during the time that this market is going on. They'll be working.
Like
on
the outside portion
Yes.
of it? Okay, okay.
Well, one last thing too, I forgot you mentioned, I do agree with Bonnie with the outreach. I believe you got to really knock it out of the park with putting the word out on this. I mean, you guys do phenomenal stuff. You guys do great videos. Maybe walking the market. I envision like you guys doing a video where someone's walking the market and saying, "Here, I'm here at the market. Have you always wanted to come, but you never could? Well, guess what? You're going to have the chance. Blah blah blah." That needs to be out there. The word has to be, maybe even on the digital billboard a little bit. Throw it up there. Whatever we can do to get the word out. So that we can, I don't want people going, "Oh, I didn't know about that," because we're going to get some of those, but I don't want it to be because of lack of exposure. So.
We have a plan to start tomorrow, so yes.
Oh, awesome. Well, I did like your flyer. Okay, any other discussion? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
We have public comment.
I'm sorry.
Kenley?
Oh, do I move? Oh.
Good evening, council. I'm going to give you an eye from the inside. I've been doing flea markets on and off for the last 40 years. I was a retailer, distributor. So I was going to ask, can the area of service be reduced, connecting the produce aisle, because it's got more lighting over there than the back? And is there going to be electrical hookup? Because that's going to be good, you need lighting to sell stuff. And right now, the vendors cannot hook into the electricity panels. Only the food trucks can. And I'm glad it's going to be on the west side because it's a two-way traffic direction versus the one-way out on the east parking lot, which has very limited light visibility. We don't need a multi-car pileup in the parking lot. Did you know a police car almost got hit head-on a month ago, according to an eyewitness? I keep on almost getting hit there all the time on head-ons, So basically by the wrong-way drivers. People tell me that coming in, they didn't notice that it was a one-way. People tell me, I came in the wrong way because it was my first time here. Maybe because it was dark, maybe if you had a flashing light, it would help see the do not enter and paint it on the ground would help. Will the grounds with the big patches missing be replaced prior to the night market? And the market's going to be affected by after school kids coming there. Some kids are nice, others are not. And basically, you're going to have them riding the e-bikes all over the parking lot, things like that. And how's that going to be covered? Basically, the greatest exposure to vending is the tent, blocking off the tents. Did you know the worst of the worst thieves of Galt are hired to set up at the flea market? Many of them have been caught 2 o'clock at night breaking in after they helped set the guy up on Monday night. So basically, can these people be vetted and have ID cards so Otherwise, they're going to be in there running around pretending to work for the vendors while robbing them. They take the merchandise and sell it to the other vendors because they pose as day workers. And can we give support to our local brick and mortars, especially the dining places, by having sponsor signs on the entrances of the flea market? And the garbage bin trucks going around that they pull is a nice place to put magnetic signs. We can charge the, the restaurants to advertise on them. And 50% of the flea market customers that come in on Tuesdays are from out of town. They come in to buy wholesale. And so, and they basically drive off the freeway and drive right back on the freeway to get back, because they have to get back to the stores. And they don't check out our town, because they're gone. I've participated in night markets before, and high-end vendors get robbed. The gangs will come in and stay next to the vendor while the others walk off with the jewelry cases. That's happened to many flea markets. So are we going to have added securities and a panic button for these high-end vendors? Because that way the flock cameras can get them. Because I heard the flock cameras have been getting these thieves that have been robbing stores here within 3 minutes. And so basically, we need to work at the flock cameras and a panic button together. And can we get Narcan on the golf carts? Right now they have the fire extinguishers and the first aid kits that I've been requesting, but we need Narcans because you got a lot of homeless people, and at night you don't know if they're going to stab somebody with the needles. And it's nice to have the Narcan available because, it takes time for the emergency people to get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Any other public comment?
No.
Madam Mayor, I have one more question before I
Sure.
maybe think of a motion. Jackie, so is to do a second day pilot, to do 2 days, is that, just being straight with me, is that something you guys could do? Or I don't want to make a motion for that and you be like, and me not be aware that it's going to be like a massive burden, because it seems like that seems to be the consensus. But before I make that motion, I want to pick your brain on it.
Anything is doable on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday. Wednesday is more challenging because a lot of the vendors will just take off. They will not
I
stay.
mean like 2 Tuesdays in a row. I'm not talking about
2
the
weeks
in a row.
Yeah. Okay. And then with the question with the lighting, I know we have a lot of stuff nowadays. People that are battery powered and all that kinds of stuff. So obviously, is there concern with lighting? Has that been thought about?
Our team has already discussed the lighting.
Okay.
So we're looking at adding additional lighting, maybe some string lighting as well. We want to make sure we're adding a new experience. So.
Okay. Well, with that, I would like to make a motion, just throwing this out there. I'd like to make a motion to approve as been presented with the exception of doing a 2-day pilot, so 2 weeks back to back, so like the 20th and the whatever, or the week, I don't care which, if it's the prior Tuesday to the 20th or the one after, I don't think it really matters, but whatever you guys feel, so doing 2 days. And then also, I would like to see the later hour, I would like to see the 8 p.m. instead of the 7 p.m. So that would be my motion to approve as presented with those 2 things specified.
I will do second.
Okay. Tina, did you get that motion? Yep. Okay. So we have a motion on the floor by Councilmember Farmer and seconded by Councilmember Sandu. Is there any additional discussion about that? Okay, roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed?
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton?
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Yes.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Good luck. But I think you guys got this. All right. Mr. City Manager, did you want to add to that, or?
No, I'm glad that you went for the 2-day, and it will give council an opportunity to visit on a non-council night. So
Yes.
you'll have a chance to kind of see how it's working.
Vice Mayor Reed suggested we just have the meeting there.
We'll be a big draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell by the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, can't you tell?
It might hurt.
Okay, any communication?
None.
All right, so city clerk's report, League of California Cities. Did I skip something?
No.
Weren't we supposed to- Okay.
We're right on schedule.
League of California
Feels that
Cities
way.
Conference, designation of voting delegate.
So the recommendation is to appoint a city council member voting delegate and up to 2 alternatives if desired at the League of California Cities Annual Conference, September 23rd through 25th in Anaheim. The annual business meeting itself is Friday, September 25th. And the cost for a member delegate to attend the conference for the full 3 days is $725 plus lodging and flight, approximately an additional $1,500 to $2,000. The cost to attend the Friday only conference to vote is $375 plus flight. Last year, we designated an alternate only to attend if the appointee council member could not attend. So it's up to you to discuss amongst yourselves.
I can comment on this. So I'm the one that went last year. The conference was great. I learned a lot of stuff, but I was disappointed because at the end, they didn't have a vote. They didn't have anything to vote on. It was very disappointing. This year, they do have an item, and the subject is more local control. So I think it's an important topic. I am available. I mean, if somebody else wants to do it, I have no problem.
What date
with
is it?
But,
23rd through the 25th of September.
you know,
So that's a Wednesday through Friday.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be out of town on the 24th and 5th, 25th for sure.
So I'm also not available. If anybody want to go up, support that.
You're not available, or
No,
you are?
I'm not
You're not? I can make myself available, but
I'll already be in Southern California the 22nd and the 23rd for another conference for my work, so
you just want to stay the week?
I could.
let's give it to them. You'll enjoy the conference. I mean, there's good information there. If you want it.
If nobody else wants it, I'll take it because I'll already be down there. I'll be in Riverside. I just have to drive to Anaheim.
Okay.
We save on transportation.
Oh, there we go.
You need a motion or just a thumbs up?
Motion.
We need a motion. Oh, yeah, because he's our delegate, so.
Do you want to appoint someone just in case you can't make it?
Well, Matt
You want-
Or we all have
Matt,
to
do you
appoint
want to be
somebody.
alternate?
I can be alternate if you can't make it. That's not a
Okay.
problem. I can leave the date open, but that'd be good.
Okay,
So the delegate is Reed and Pratton is alternate.
Right, which I'm not going unless he's not.
Right. Okay.
And just to be clear for the motion, this would be just for the voting, not to attend the conference.
Are you going to attend all 3 days or just the Friday conference?
Honestly, I'd recommend all 3 days. I would.
Yeah.
Because they have a trade show and they have some pretty good meetings. And a lot of people from this area attend there, so there's a lot of good
Yeah,
networking.
that's fine.
so we don't quite have a motion yet. So do you want to make a motion?
Yep, I'll move that Vice Chair Reed is our primary. I'll be the secondary for all 3 days.
And that he's going to attend the whole conference?
He'll attend all 3 days, yes.
Does that work, everybody? Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second?
I would do second.
Okay, so moved by Councilmember Pratton and seconded by Councilmember Sandu. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Reed?
Aye.
Councilmember Pratton?
Aye.
Councilmember Sandu?
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer?
Aye.
Mayor Rodriguez?
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. All right, coming to the end. Comments by staff.
First up, Police Chief Brian Kalinowski.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just want to either inform you or remind you that next Wednesday, the 26th, will be Harminder Graywall's 5th anniversary of his passing, and so we will be laying a wreath at the memorial at the police department at 12 o'clock sharp, and we will be having some food and beverages and fellowship in the community room shortly thereafter. So members, obviously, of the public and the council, why I'm letting you know, are welcome to attend, and we look forward to your participation if you can make it.
What time is that, Chief?
12 o'clock sharp next Wednesday. Sharp.
Then Community Development Director Jenny Carloni.
Good evening, Council. I wanted to provide an update on the first ad hoc task force for the Sacramento Housing and Homelessness meeting that was held on August 6th. Our appointed staff was not able to make it, so in the future, I'm sure Councilmember Farmer, you'll be able to report out, but I wanted to just update the council. So the major themes that were discussed on the 6th were SB 802, regional coordination, and the upcoming timeline for this group. So it's anticipated that the committee will meet once a month through January, and then after that is when the formal regional homeless and housing board will take shape. So this, again, is just kind of the planning task force. So monthly meetings through then, and the decisions that were made on the 6th were to adopt the task force ways of working, approve a majority vote as the formal decision-making process, and then we agreed to use the gradients of agreement to inform discussion. So all of that is in the meeting notes and slides that went out to the staff members. So overall, it was a good first meeting, basically introductions and getting on the same page, and then I anticipate September, October, November to be heavy working meetings. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Human Resources Director Tricia Kobe.
Good evening. We are excited to announce that we've launched a campaign for citizens to recognize City of Galt employees for exceptional service to the community and for demonstrating the city's core values. So employees who've been nominated will be recognized quarterly on social media and in the city's newsletter. And to access the campaign, you can go to the City of Galt website and then the Human Resources drop-down and select the Recognize a City of Galt Employee link.
And finally, Assistant City Manager Amy Mendez.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. The city treasurer stole my thunder and announced the City of Galt's 80th birthday did occur on Sunday, August the 16th. And to commemorate that, our community engagement analyst pulled together a reel of a number of city staff really at a last minute request on Wednesday. And so Tina has that reel, and I think she's going to play it for everybody so we can, and this was circulated on social media, so you may have seen it, but we thought it was really fun.
That looks like a great place to work.
It was a lot of fun.
We did have to we had to do 2 takes though, because Amy and I running together, I forgot she couldn't keep up with me, so I took off.
I was 100% wearing the wrong shoes too. Heels in wet grass is not a good combination, and Chris has much longer legs than I do.
That was fun. And then that's it for staff.
All right. Okay, comments by city council members and future agenda items. Vice Mayor Reed.
All righty. I will start with, in the last few weeks, because we haven't been here for a while, I got to attend the National Night Out, which I think was a great turnout with as hot as it was. It was surprising to see the amount of people that still came out, but it was a great turnout from people from the community, businesses, the city staff. It was a great time just touring with, I got to ride with the captain the whole time, so that was fun. Got to meet a lot of people that I'd never met before, so that's always a good time. I got to go to the Saturday market where I was a judge in the cookie competition, so thanks Park and Rec for that. We we judged 12 cookies, so we only could take one bite of each one because there was too many cookies. And once again, the Saturday market was a great event. It always is, and it just shocks me every time I go that just the amount of people that come. And then I did have a meeting with a couple of the city staff members. The assistant city manager was there. The captain was there. We had a meeting with the railroad to discuss going through town. And so I had a lot of questions for them. The first one was why, addressing the trains that stop in the middle of the city, right? Why do the trains stop there? And what they said was, anytime that you see a train stopped in the middle of Galt, it was unscheduled, unplanned, and it is a mechanical issue that they're having with the train. They never plan to stop in the middle of our town. So we talked about that for a second, and they told us some options that we do have if it is an extended, and they're talking like greater than an hour and a half to 2 hours that they're expecting this train to be there. They have the options to split the train and push and open up a crossing, but just that process alone, they said takes an hour to an hour and a half just to be able to split the train and open it up. So we did discuss access from the east to the west side. I explained to them and I brought up all the information that the fire department provided us in our last quarterly report, the amount of fire calls that we have on that side of the track and how important it is for our emergency services to be able to access that side. And then they wanted to make sure that we had all the emergency contact information for our dispatch center, the fire dispatch center, the city staff, on which they can call if they do notice that there is an issue. They have emergency contact numbers that they can call. And then we discussed a grade separation, which I've brought up to the public works and the city manager before, right? If we were to have this ability to create a bridge or a subway, whichever we're gonna do to get from one side to the other without having to restrict those vehicles at all whatsoever, what would that look like? And it was very, I thought it was great that she came out and she told us that there are a lot of federal grant funds for things like this. And she didn't disagree that that kind of project was going to cost upwards of $50 million to do. They recommended making a bridge and not going under because of structural reasons. But it was a very good meeting. They did say that they are expanding. And so right now they estimated anywhere from around 26 trains go through Galt every day. And with their expansion, they're estimating that could exceed 30 to 31 trains per day, which didn't make me super excited, but it's good for the business. So that was that meeting. And then the last thing I just wanted to ask, because there's been a lot of people talking all over social media about their utility bills and how it seems to have skyrocketed. Well, my wife said the same thing, and so I sat down and realized that the reason that our utility bill went up this month compared to last month is because we used more water. But I know we had talked about it in the past of moving from a every 2-month billing cycle to moving to a monthly billing cycle.
Yes, that's going to be the plan, but we're going to wait until we do the utility module with our new ERP system, and that's scheduled to, we're going to be scheduled to work on that in the week of January 18th. So.
Perfect. Thank you. And that's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Pratton.
Good subjects. Thanks for that. 2 events for me. National Night Out. I thought the same thing. Went excellent. I was impressed with the amount of people, considering it was very hot. I was escorted around by Officer Azevedo. Did a great job. Look forward to that event next year. July 27th, I went to the public safety meeting. where they combined it with as the second meeting for the citywide safety issues. And I thought the meeting went very well. It was pretty well attended. You always want to see more people there, but it was a decent crowd. Everybody was good. The interaction with the folks that put it on did a great job, because at the end they actually had some work sessions. So, and they were listening. They were engaged in trying hard to get us to give them information, and they took notes. And so I think they're going the right direction, and the public's getting good input, the ones that showed up. So that's all I have.
All right, Councilmember Sandu.
Yeah, a few things. Same thing. I also attended that National Night Out there is excellent. And then also attended the safety meeting with council member Bratton was there, and Rachel Lozano was on CSD. And there was a good discussion. And same thing, there's not that many people there, but it's a good discussion what we did. I would also like to take the moment to thank you for the staff, their hard work and their dedication. And they put a lot of time in their reports. And these reports help us to make a decision as a council. And I also like to thank you, whoever come as a public comment. And these public comment is very important. It also help us to, in the community, make stronger. And I also like to thank you, is whoever come to this council chamber, even somebody come to listen, is thank you for everybody coming. And that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Farmer.
Yeah, just a few comments. National Night Out was great, well attended for the heat. I was happy to see so many people out there. I want to thank all the staff for, excuse me, for putting that on. And we interviewed a bunch of people out there. It was a good time. So I had a great time at it. It's good every year. And I wanted to mention, Mr. Reed, you mentioned the utility bills, but staff's been really good about putting out some information about the fact that even though it is every other month and it's kind of a big bill, that they've been good about putting information out there about being able to pay it every month if you want and break it up. So hopefully more people will be aware of that, and they can take advantage of the flexibility of the billing side, of the billing or paying options that they have to make that better. Outside of that, I just want to thank again Parks and Rec staff for the presentation for the Saturday market or the Tuesday market. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. I also attended National Night Out, was escorted in an unmarked police vehicle. That was kind of fun. With the chief and Amy Mendez. That was fun and hot. I don't understand it. The first two seem okay. Then you get over to Carillion, and that park always seems so much hotter. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But I also, along with Vice Mayor Reed, was able to attend and be a cookie judge at the Saturday market. That was very fun, and I enjoyed myself very much. Came back with a huge pile of melted chocolate chip cookies that disappeared at some point. So, but right after that, I was asked to go and judge at Herald Day, and so I had those 12 chocolate chip cookies, and then like 7 salsas and other baked goods and jams, and like 11 jams and jellies, and 4 of the baked goods were chocolate chip cookies. So I had quite a bit. I too wanted to wish the city happy birthday. I did see the video online, and I thought that was really fun. And I remember when we were celebrating the sesquicentennial, I can still say it, 150 years of just the existence of the area, and with the city being 80 years old, that's pretty significant for our little town. We were one of the original Sacramento County cities, right? It's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's right, OG Galt. See, there you go. I thought it was interesting. I was going to throw it out there. I know we all see those e-bikes all over, but I saw an e-trike today up on, and I thought, oh, I wonder how fast that one goes. And should it be up on a sidewalk? Probably not so much, but it was pretty fascinating. And then I started thinking, does our ordinance cover trikes? Bicycle, trike is a bicycle, right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. As far as future agenda items, I'd like to, St. Luke's will be celebrating 125 years. I believe they are the oldest church in town. And they are going to have a big celebration coming up in October, and I thought it would be fitting if the city presented a proclamation of some sort. So I'm asking for recognition that we can do that the first meeting of October. That would be awesome. Great. Anything else? All right, we'll go ahead and close this meeting at 8:07.
Oh, we forgot to say who.
Hey, there's no